Welcome, everyone. This is once again your host, Shailesh, bringing you live a life journey of all real humans. And today I have the pleasure to invite Cecily Henderson from Tennessee, US. Welcome, Cecily, to this beautiful episode of us. What we do is it is all about a life journey of humans, where we have real humans, real experiences, real wisdom sharing. And what a pleasure today. And I don't know to all the listeners, this amazing human today we have has thrived and thrived and thrived every single moment when you listen to the stories that we are going to uncover from her. She is a survival of many things, but we all humans are survival if we understand the power of us. But here is an example of the power that human can have today when we hear from Cecily Henderson of her own life journey in her own experiences and her wisdom sharing today. So, welcome, Cecily, to this beautiful episode of us. And we always try to do our best in terms of giving all the experiences that the listeners can listen and then take away from that what is so important when it comes to humans. So, welcome, Cecily. Tell us something about you and what it's very hard for me to explain everything, but yeah, I can tell one thing that you are also a certified functional medicinal practitioner and also a women's health advocate. So all the listeners who are women definitely are worth listening, but also to the men because women without men and men without women are not complete. So I take the floor to you, Cecily. Please tell us something about you and your survival, and then we will get straight into it, your life journey, right from the beginning when the day started, about your consciousness that you had. So, welcome.
Thank you, Shailesh. I appreciate this opportunity because what I went through is not talked about a whole lot, unfortunately. So, and people don't really hear about it very often, which is breast implant illness.
Mm,
And I had cancer twice and ended up putting in breast implants
mm,
and then started having these very strange symptoms. Usually, it would be something like dry eyes, or my hair started falling out, and rheumatoid arthritis, and all these things started to happen. And I go to the doctors, and they would tell me, we took the test, nothing's wrong with you. And so I was always left with a sense of, gosh, it's got to be in my head. I don't know what's happening to me. And so as I continued on for about 7 years experiencing these symptoms, there was a day where my legs collapsed
mm.
and I was trying to walk up the stairs and I couldn't. I actually fell down the stairs, collapsed, and I couldn't move my legs. And
Wow.
my husband was gone at the time, so I was alone with my son.
Mm-hmm.
And I had called some friends and say, "Hey, can please come over, help me because I can't walk." And they helped me. But once my husband got home and he found out I couldn't walk, he rushed me to the emergency room to the hospital. And the doctors looked at me and said, "We don't know what's going on. We have no idea." And they were going to release me. And my
Mm,
husband said, "No, you're going to admit her." And it was a good thing that my husband did because within 2 days, my nervous system started shutting down. I couldn't swallow. I was having difficulty breathing, and it was an emergency. So, long story short, I ended up paralyzed on the left side of my body. And the doctor still didn't know why I was paralyzed. And so I went for that whole 7 years being paralyzed, having to go into the hospital every 6 weeks for treatment, thinking that my life was going to end. There were so many times where I was having difficulty breathing or swallowing. I thought, oh my gosh, this is it. My
mm,
life is ending now. And so I was preparing myself for death and writing letters to my children and to my husband and just,
mm,
preparing myself for that. And I was quieting myself in my room one day. I was really sick in bed. And I had this powerful thought come to me. Your implants are making you sick.
mm.
And I looked around like, oh my gosh, where did this thought come from? I've never heard of anything like this. And whether you believe in spirituality or a higher power or the universe, whatever, I just felt like this was something being told me that there's something wrong. And for a little while, I thought about the idea and then I just let it go
Mm.
and I didn't do anything about it.
Oh, that's really powerful and empowering for all the people who are listening, but also what a challenging situation that any human can be put into by a universe when you know the unknown and when you know. So let's go back before we uncover more and more. Let's go back to your childhood. When you were as a child, and how was your conscious mind at that time? Who were you? What do you think at that time it was? Where you are today, you had all this journey of so many challenges. But let's start beginning from your childhood. Like, what was Cecily was as a child?
Goodness, okay, let's go all the way back.
Yeah.
I I was pretty fun loving. I had a really wonderful mother and father that supported us. We had a family of nine, so it was a
Wow.
big family.
Very nice. Yeah.
I was the oldest, so I was always the one,
Mm,
trying to help with the kids and help my mom. And I know as when I had first met you, we were talking about some
mm,
things that really made a difference to our lives and our childhood. And I remember my mother being such a giving woman. She would bake all these goodies and she would go out and hand them
mm,
to our neighbors, even
mm,
if she didn't know them. And she'd go to the whole neighborhood until finally the whole surrounding area she gave gifts.
mm.
And this was her way of showing
Yeah.
people love, and
Mm.
that impacted me as a
Right.
child. I remember that.
So that surrounding, that environment made your mindsets, made your thoughts process of every single moment. How do you live, or your even like gathering your friends or gathering your colleagues around you? Did that may helped a lot in the environment that you were in? That what you think today, when you reflect?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my mother taught me about service and about other people, connecting with other people. And I know I was telling you about this, that when
Mm,
she passed away, very young age at 38, and I was 18, and I remember her funeral, they had to open up a lot of different rooms because there was over 1,000 people there to
wow.
be at her funeral and pay homage to her
Yeah.
because she had touched so many lives.
Correct. Yeah.
And I remember that, and it affected me,
Mm,
and the way that what I'm doing right now and helping
mm,
women and being a woman's advocate, that just made such a difference, a powerful difference in my life to go
mm.
through that experience. Even though it was traumatic,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
it, it reminded me that one person can make a big difference.
So what was your thoughts going at that time? Like today you are a medicine practitioner, so obviously, yeah, what was your thinking when you were as a teenage, when you went into school or college or university or whatever you did? What was at that time your desires or your dreams or you wanted to do? I can see everything that what you do today is helping people, helping humans, but helping women of your own because you understand women because you are a woman. So you understand. And that's choice, taking that choice that to do something like that also needs a lot of, out of the box in the community because communities, they judge you. They think, oh, why do you want to do this? Just because you're a woman or just because you what it is. So what was really inspired you or triggered you to get into this situation or position of where you are today? At that time when you were teenage, did you think that you would be doing this and you would be doing that? Or you had different challenges and you changed? What are, let me understand that.
You're deep diving here. So, and that's a really good question, and I had to think about that for a while. Well, I had a teacher, and she was a health and nutrition teacher when I think I was in seventh or eighth grade, and she influenced me on nutrition and health.
Oh,
And I'm like, oh my
nice.
gosh, I want to be like that when I grow
Mm,
up. And
mm,
she was my hero,
mhm.
as far as, you know, teacher and wanting to be like her. So she influenced me a lot in being a practitioner. I wanted to help people be healthy, and because I saw her helping people and helping me.
Right.
And that's why I'm a practitioner, why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Wow. I think this is very well said because when it followed like you followed your mom who was serving in front of you on different levels and different things. Even basic food is still a serving, and that's what you make out of your life. But then you went into nutritionists following that, that you were inspired by that as well, which is again serving the humanity, serving and supporting the humanity. And so, I mean, now today you are doing already there. Um, did you had any challenges in accepting or making those changes at that time in your life? That, yeah, no, I want to do this, but did you had challenges at that time? And how did you little bit of overcome on it?
Oh my goodness, yes. Yes, challenges. The big challenge was when my mother passed away and I fell
Right.
apart, right? I fell
Mhm.
apart, went to school, dropped out of school, went back to school,
Mm.
had to drop out again, due to illness. And yeah, it was one challenge after another because it took me 12 years of school to get where I'm at. And this 3 times I had to drop out. And
Mm.
so there was big challenges, to overcome to get to this point. When there was I had to drop out of school because I started going blind.
Mm.
And I had another where I ended up with a mastectomy, and I had another like with my mother's death. So all these challenges,
Mm.
kind of changed me to morph. I went for psychology, so I got my psychology major, and then I went for, practitioner, for functional medicine practitioner. Now I'm going as a health educator.
Wow.
So I'm morphed into all these different things, you
Mm.
know, as I see the need and what fulfills me as
Mm.
a practitioner.
Yeah, no, that is amazing to go through those challenges with your health and then taking and accepting those challenges, which is all related to your mind. Because when you do psychology, when you do nutrition, it's all about mind. But you are already into a situation where your health challenges are there. And then you go into your own committed to your mind challenges, which is amazing, which is empowering and powerful for any person to go through. Because normally people in that situation, one or the other, if they are having challenges of health, they just shut down their mind and they just don't want to do anything. Or if they are having challenges with mind, then they just ignore their health. You know, it's so related with your mind, body, and soul, as we all talk about it. But
100%.
yeah, but in terms of what you did and what you have chosen and accepting and continuing to do is really empowering. So, did you had this urge inside at all that levels, your confidence level or your, empowering yourself that, nah, I don't care what others say, but I want to do this and I am going to do this in spite of all the arts. What was your own motivation, if I have to understand?
Well, so this is hard for me to talk about because, I mean, first of all, when my mother died, that was motivation to get,
Mm,
to do right, to accomplish my dreams. But that kind of fizzled out.
mm,
I think the biggest thing that happened to me was, I had a very abusive first marriage,
mm,
and, being treated a certain way, right? When you're abused emotionally, it
correct.
if you can get through that and you understand what that feels like,
Mm,
you can impact other people.
yes.
And that's one of the things that really helped influence me to become where I'm at.
Mm.
So that is, yeah, that was a big
Big
challenge,
change.
or
Yeah.
big change
Yeah.
in my life, for sure.
Oh, lovely. Absolutely. This is empowering to me as well, because people who have not gone through certain challenges, people who go through certain challenges, every challenge is important for every person because it's not about small, big, high, low. It's about challenge is a challenge. and we just have to pass through that. So, as you can see, all the listeners, this is an amazing life journey of Cecilia to tell us in her real experiences. And so we feel that, okay, we are not alone in this whole human battle. We all are in the same battle. So tell us something now, like what are the positive solutions that you found in terms of your life journey when you went through all of these challenges, physical, mental, whatever you call it, and relationship and all that? Because that's so important to change those mindsets and to become what you are today. Because 99% people, they go into a direction which is quite easy, convenient, subconsciously for them to give away and not, they give up basically. They give up. But you are here not giving up, but like trying to create something created, but also now helping others. That's amazing. So what's the positive things that you went through this all this and you uncovered yourself that these are the positives I like rather than what I didn't like?
No, I love that. I love changing it into a positive because
Yeah.
when I end because yeah, I mean you can find in any situation, like when I was paralyzed,
Yeah.
which is a horrible thing to go through, but I was forced to sit there and quiet my mind and read books and look inside, search inside myself because I couldn't go out and do things and crazy my mind all the time. I had to be very calm and quiet and
Mm,
think about things, think about my life and think about where I want to go, reading relationship books, reading uplifting stories. And so I inundated myself with that because I was forced to have to do something.
something,
And
yeah.
so I turned that into a positive. And instead of being there and just being in that terrible negative mindset, I had to search for those positive things
Mm,
and was forced into that and helped me through my trauma because that's part of helping yourself through trauma is reflecting on those emotions and working through them and being okay with
mm.
having those feelings and emotions and then letting them go. And I had to be okay being paralyzed. I had to be okay where I was.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to take back a little bit backwards when you started having your education or wanted to have learned something in medicine, learn something in different areas, psychology and all of that. Like, was that like a point where you thought, okay, rather than doing anything else, knowledge, I can gain knowledge, I can do something, and then I can, was that a real kind of taking away from your current at that time situation to a situation into positives? Would you consider that as taking a choice or choosing education over doing nothing or just going for making money? People tend to go, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that, and then that's it. But not education is the easiest form in that situation. Was that, how do you see now that those choices for you, was that a real positive choice? And what that came from inner voice, or would that was somebody was there in your journey to guide, or you had were your own guide? How was it?
I love that question. So I got started into psychology.
Mm.
I used to work for an attorney
Mm-hmm.
and I had her clients would come up and I was just the administrative assistant and the clients would come up and say, Cecily, you are so positive, you're so kind, you would be great at being
Mm-hmm.
a psychologist. So
Mm.
that inspired me to go back
Right.
to school and
Mm.
that's why I started education. Then of course filling my mind
Mm.
when I shortly after that I was paralyzed after working for that attorney. But then I said, you know what? I might as well just keep going. I'm in school already. I might as well just keep going. And I, it's a personal goal of mine to be able to get as much education because it does help fill your mind
Mm.
and fill that space where instead of being negative, to be
Mm.
positive.
Mm.
And so, yeah, education has been paramount on my healing recovery.
Oh, that's really amazing because, yeah, I do feel, increasing knowledge doesn't have to be university or college or anything, but increasing your knowledge is something that is so empowering for a normal human or any human, because then you're filling with all the positives and filling with all the things that you don't know, but you have learned on your own. And that's a great kind of motivation for yourself. So as you can see, to all the listeners, what would you like, want to say to those listeners who are listening now? Like, okay, people give up easily on certain things, on little things, and people think that I'm not going to make it. They are very negative. They are very much negative in that zone. And negative comes very easily for us as a human, but maybe you chose the positives, maybe you were the positives, but that was your inner instinct, that was your guidance through all your, but also looking out for those positive changes rather than looking at no changes. See, so what would you say to all the listeners who are listening at the moment, and trying to understand Cecilia's journey and Cecilia's thoughts that went through with all the challenges? But education, as you said, is the prime kind of a turning point where you gain knowledge, and now you are actually distributing that knowledge, which is amazing. So, in short, if you have to say something to all the listeners about this kind of particular point of education, what would you say?
So the biggest thing that I would say is first be okay with your feelings.
Mm,
If you're feeling negative and you're feeling awful, those are your feelings. Be okay and own those feelings.
mm,
Next step is let them go. Let
mm,
those feelings go.
mm,
And that is the one thing I had to learn because I had fear and anxiety and depression for so long.
mm.
And I had to learn to be okay. I own my feelings, but now it's time I'm going to let them go. And that's when the healing starts is after you let those things go.
Wow. And then this positive has changed into you that you are now a woman's health advocate. So when you became a health advocate for all the women around you, and also who are listening now, some of the women are listening, what, would your advice would be in terms of what you are doing currently as an advocating for health of women? What would, what should they do in simple terms,
Connect with other women that are going through the same thing. That's
Mm,
what I would tell women. Just connect with others because when you have a community of women that are going through the same thing, and that's what I did, I connected with these women
mm.
and it helped inspire and uplift me in those times I needed.
So connection and is something very, very much important as a human that you have uncovered. But also, when you were distant or during your, situation of surgery, during your situation of all those moments of sickness and illness that went through, what did you find at that time was going through in your mind as a challenge, and how did you change those challenges into positives? That today you
Yeah,
are
you
today you are advocating the health of the woman. I wanted to just uncover that.
Oh, well, I was alone,
Yeah.
basically going through this. And that's why I'm like,
Mm.
I wish I would have connected with women
Yeah.
because what was going on in my mind is,
Mm.
how long am I going to live? I'm so fearful for my life. I
Mm.
don't know if my family can handle this. How am I affecting my family? And if I would have just connected with people or
Mm.
women that have been going through difficult times, I would have had that support and it could have changed my mindset.
Mm.
But because I was doing it alone, it was so hard. That's why I'm a huge believer in connection, especially with women, men too, but women need to
Yeah.
connect with themselves and with each other because
Yeah.
being alone, it's the worst thing that you can do.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think this is something very empowering for all the people who are listening, actually. You can you choose to live your life by alone, but then it's much better if you live with others, because alone is not the answer to our human journey. Because then human journey is not a human journey if you are alone. Because I personally also feel experience that living alone is like okay, I don't have to worry about others and things like that. We think, but actually we are creating more issues innerly for us. But if you are with someone or anyone or everyone, then we are distributing our connections and thoughts, and then we are always empty to receive all the positive things. Otherwise, we are already filled with negative when you are alone. That's my experience as well. Because then negative thoughts come more as an alone rather than positive. Whereas if you are with
Exactly.
someone, then we are always positive and we interact and all of that. So, no, that's amazing, Cecilia. So, tell me now something about when you are what at stage where you are at today. You are a wife, you are a mother, you are a grandmother, but also you have been helping women for the last few years, and your goal is to, support, but also being educated yourself. You have the power of knowledge to distribute the knowledge as well. So you're not someone just with your practical experiences, but with also your knowledge of academic or knowledge of your other people's knowledge that you have gathered as well to pass on. How would you say at this point of time, when you reflect back, that what you are doing today and the directions that you are going today, if similar situations like what you have been through, the worst of worst and a person can have in one life, if you encounter that another kind of thing, episode, are you already prepared for it? What do you think? What's your mindset? I want to understand this because you know how change can happen, how events can come through your life, but then how you become strong and how you become positively ready to face everything. Give me that some insights of yours, what is going through now.
That's a big
I know
question,
it's a big one.
right? That's a big one because there's so many steps that lead you
Exactly.
up to where you're
Mm,
at, right? I
mm,
can't say that I went because I mean all the small trials led to big trials, and
mm,
it took a long time in my 51 years to get to the point where I'm at. But the one thing is, like you said, don't give up. And
mm,
how do you not give up? Is that you learn,
mm.
connect, knowledge, and then be with other people. But I guess, gosh, that's a tough question because the
It's a
steps that I took,
hypothetical. It's a hypothetical.
yeah,
But then you know what happens is we all live in hope. Everything is hypothetical if you really look at it in our life, because we are only hoping, right?
that's right.
There you go. Oh my
Exactly.
God. Oh my God.
So
I didn't realize it.
yeah,
Sorry, Cecilia. Oh, this is
no,
perfect.
my group that I've created is called Hope for Healing Network, and my
Ah,
goal is to bring people into a
mm,
safe space where
mm,
they can heal and find answers and find hope, because I spent 10 years in fear. Well, more than 10 years, almost 15 years in fear, constant fear and pain and
mm,
illness, and that shaped me. That's a long time to go
mm.
through
Yeah,
constant fear, right? And for
correct.
people to go through that changes a person, especially if you get through it.
Yep.
And I think that's why I'm here, is because I just didn't give up. No matter what fear came at me, no matter what illness came at me, I kept moving forward, and looking for those answers. And that's why I'm doing this group, is I want
Mm,
people to find answers.
mm. So basically, yeah, it's amazing because people don't know what's next for them or what will happen in their life. Similar, but if you are a person where you have gone through a certain events in your life, and now you are ready for even those events, even if they creep in, you know what to do and you are confident of it because you have gone through that on your own. And that's something is what I would say is very important because hope is a hope. And we all live in hope because we don't know. Our life journey is like a movie. We don't know the start, we know the end, but we want to enjoy the movie. It's very simple.
I love that.
Yeah, so something that it's embedded in me that, why do we want to know the name of the movie or the title of the movie or everything? We don't know the start, we don't know the end, but that's the beauty of it when don't know the start and end, and you know it when you watch it. So that's exactly is like our life. We don't need to know, we have to just manage in between. And so hope for healing, I love this three words. Hope for healing is a good concept that you started, and I think everybody needs a hope for anything and everything. It's not about just doing something or achieving something, but even to live your every single moment, or even to create every single moment in a hope, with a hope, that's the beauty of it. So with that, I definitely would like to end here, but I wanted to know, so hope for healing, tell me something about hope for healing before we end, and what the listeners should know about hope for healing stands for, and how do they, understand you more.
So, Hope for Healing stands for a place or a safe place that people
Mhm.
can come together, can collaborate, tell their story. That's the one thing is I love what you're doing, right? You're telling stories, you're helping people learn more and connect to whatever the interviewee is saying. And so I interview people that have gone through different things
Yeah.
just to see if it will connect with people. And then also interviewing practitioners. That's another
Wow.
thing. So that practitioners can come on and tell what they're doing. And if
Mm.
it resonates with somebody saying, oh my goodness, this is what I need, and I'm going through this autoimmune or I'm going through this trauma, and this person is offering, what they offer, then that helps to connect to find those answers.
Mm.
And that's what I've been striving for. And it's a Facebook group. It's called Hope for Healing Network. Make sure you put the
Fantastic.
network in there because
Yeah,
so, there's
would
another
love.
buddy, there's somebody else called Hope for Healing, but mine is Hope for Healing Network.
Okay, Hope for Healing Network. So, with that beautiful conversation I had, Cecilia, I want to end this with one last question. And this is going to be a little bit of my personal challenge for myself. Is like, because I more of a like when you talk about spirituality, when you talk about science, when you talk about science and spirituality, and you have done medicine, and you are also have hope for healing. So hope for healing doesn't necessarily have a physical medicine, but it's all about talking, communicating words, and empowering with your own kind of journey. So when I want to compare this, like what would you say in your hope for healing thing? Just want to ask you this simple question, like medicines, which is scientifically created by humans, and then words which are also spoken by humans. When it comes to these two, and when you want to hope from that, is there any comparison? Is there any one thing that we can choose for hope, or is we need both? How would you say this?
Oh, we need both. And that's the beauty of my group is that I offer researched information.
Yeah.
And what is the opposite of hope is fear. So
Mm,
what happens to your brain, your neurotransmitters, when you have hope, it creates this positivity. Your neurotransmitters are happy. You've got your serotonin going through your dopamine, and it creates this positivity in your body to help you heal. So it's not just spiritual or emotional.
or
It's very
medicine.
scientific. It's very medically proven that when you have hope,
Mm.
that you heal faster. And so it's a combination.
Because at the end of the medicine, people are also humans. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the beauty of it, that people forget. People think professionals, health practitioners, that means, oh, I don't want to do medicine or I don't want to go. It's not about that. It's about they are also humans and they have research. And as you rightly said, so it's a combination of everything because there is no silver bullet for anything in this universe.
And I've been a practitioner for several years. I help
Mm.
people. I've got 6 or 7 different certifications.
Hmm.
Emotional eating. I've got a mold
Wow.
certification. I've got SIBO. I have microbiome. I've got hormone health. I have all these certifications, but I
Wow.
recognize that I can combine the medicine part of it, but you can't do it without the hope.
Right.
And so that's why I decided to create this group, because you need to combine the two for the best results.
So I can say that hope is the healing factor overall. And with
Yes.
that note, I really, really thank you, Cecilia, for this beautiful, beautiful journey conversation that I had today on your life
Thank you,
journey. But I
Shailesh.
would like to talk more about now with your expertise on medicine, on health practitioners, as a health practitioner, as a spiritual combination that you connect and that you use to help people. It's amazing. I mean, it would be beautiful to talk about a topic on that as well. And we can bring some health practitioners into it and let's have an interaction where what does health practitioners, so put your hat as a health practitioner, put your hat as a spiritual human or normal human, and then we connect these two dots to actually make a better impact on all the humans that we try to serve. What do you
I
think?
love that. Oh, absolutely. I love it. I think that is the key.
That is the
And
key, exactly.
you can't, yeah, you can't have one without the other.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
so I would love to have a create because I do have one spiritual concept speaker. She is practicing, but what she recognizes that habits something she wanted to talk, and I said, well, habits is something related to also health practitioners, which we can solve and resolve. So would love to connect on those topics. So with that note, Cecilia, I really, really thank you very much for this beautiful conversation I had today, and I
Thank
would
you.
love to bring you back. So
Thanks
final
for
word
having
to
me.
all the listeners, your final word, and we'll end there.
Thank you. Oh, final word. Well, of course, always have hope. And if you can't find hope, lean on the hope of others.
Beautiful. As we always heard from her, Cecilia, also at the start, she said serving, supporting, and then health, looking after your health because she has experienced that health issues, but also she has changed that health issues into her mind. And that's where I think that's very powerful that she has utilized mind and health over mind and mind over health. And it's a great combination where she is today. So we all can become what she is today here. Thank you so much, Cecilia.
Thank you,
We will
Shalise.
look forward to meeting you once again. Till then, bye for now. And to all the listeners, please write to us. And if you need any help, Cecilia is always here to answer your questions and feedback. Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.